freedom,
family,
world unity.
All these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
Real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family is important to us, and anybody that is listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing Heye Consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented are to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here, we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Hi, y'all.
And welcome back
To an episode of
Heye Consciousness.
I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And we are
Oh, wait. Hold on. We got a new member. That's right. So, let's start that again, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
And welcome back
To an episode of Heye Consciousness.
Consciousness.
I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria, and this is our new editor, Tyler! He will be with us on just about every episode, whenever he can and can't show up, or, he'll be here for now, but if there's like 1 of the 2 days where you don't see him, he's just busy off doing something else. But, anyways, so we're going to start today's episode. It's Thursday, so it's America, a Narrative History Day. And today's chapter is going to be very interesting. We go a little deeper into, what happened with Mary Queen of Scots, a little bit with Queen Elizabeth, and what happened to Mary Queen of Scots, which we all know happened to her, or at least most of us do.
Mm-hmm.
But then we figure out, or find out what happens. Yeah, pretty much. And then we find out what happens afterwards with her son, getting his revenge for, his mother and everything else. And then we round back to something that we learned back in one of our previous episodes of the Secret Destiny of America book, written by Manly P. Hall in 1944. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
We round back to the Croatoans, and the Roanoke colony. We go back to Sir Walter Raleigh, and there is a mention of a book from one of the chapters that talked about utopias. Sir Thomas More.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, by Sir Thomas More. His book, The Utopia, comes back into play as well. And apparently this had a lot, again, like Secret Destiny of America said, it has a lot to do with, some of the inspirations that built America to what it was. And again, Sir Walter Raleigh and all of his Freemason friends that were within, the royal guards and courts and stuff, they all had a hand in making America and founding the government, and they had a hand in founding the very city of North Kakalaki, where we live right here, Raleigh, North Carolina. With that being said, a little recap of last week. We went into a little more of the Spanish explorations and what happens and what happened with them. We learned about Sir Francis Drake and Mr. Basil Hawkins, which we also made references from One Piece about, because those two pirates actually did exist, and they are from, our history, but they're in the anime One Piece as well. So, and what's really cool is that Basil Hawkins, who has the straw man fruit in One Piece, like that was, his actual name in real life as his real pirate counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Sir Francis Drake being one of the Navy, but also because of Queen Elizabeth turned pirate navy, a pirate navyman, that's what also loops One Piece into it too, because if anybody watches One Piece, we all know that Drake is a double agent spy for the Navy, for the world government's Navy, and so he's infiltrating all these, pirate crews and becoming, part of the crew members and stuff.
Spoilers for those who ain't watched One Piece, because honestly, you don't learn that until episode 900.
Oops. Well, sorry. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler before the spoiler.
Spoiler before the spoiler.
Don't worry, I got you.
Tyler will help us edit that. So, yeah. They actually, those two pirates, Basil Hawkins and Francis Drake from One Piece. Drake, who's our dino pirate captain. Those two actually existed in real life. And we went over those in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then we also... no, never mind. That was the episode before last episode. We went into Martin Luther.
Oh yeah, Martin Luther and the breaks of Christianity. That was 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but it kind of falls over into the last episode because that's what pretty much essentially broke apart Spanish because of all the different provinces.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of made it in a way easy pickings for Queen Elizabeth, to manipulate people.
Well, it made it easy pickings for her to start pirating the ships, the Navy that's going in and out while they're doing the in-house fighting.
Yeah.
And that's starting antagonizing even more. But anyway.
So, on to today's chapter. So, we're going to read from, again, our good old trusty handy dandy America Narrative History, 1984 edition. So, we're going to start with the English explorations. A significant figure in channeling this energy was Richard Hakluyt, the Younger, of Oxford clergyman, who as a youth was inspired by the example of his cousin, the elder Richard Hakluyt, to collect and publish the accounts of great voyages of exploration. Sorry, the dog's bark threw me off. He set out systematically. Well, yeah, but the dog distracted me for a second. Leave me alone. He set out systematically to read whatever accounts he could find in Latin, Greek, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and English. Goodness, that's a lot. In the process, he rescued some accounts from destruction. In 1582, Hakluyt brought out his first book, Divers Voyages, touching through the discoveries of America, and in the summer of the Armada, he finished the principal navigations, voyages, and discoveries of the English nation. Hakluyt, moreover, became an active promoter of colonization. In 1584, at the request of Sir Walter Raleigh, he prepared for the Queen a discourse of Western planting, which was first published 3 centuries later. So 300 years later was that finally published. In which he pleaded for colonies to accomplish diverse objects, to extend the reformed religion, to expand trade, and employ the idle to supply England's needs from her own dominions, and to provide bases in case of war with Spain, to enlarge the Queen's revenues and navy, and to discover a northwest passage to the Orient. While Hawkins and Drake, our 2 pirates, ransacked the Spanish Main, other seamen renewed the search for the Northwest Passage, inspired by Sir Humphrey Gilbert's A Discourse for a Discovery for a New Passage to Katia. I tried to figure out how to say it beforehand when I was pre-reading, but it's Cataia.
Cataia.
Of Kataia? Maybe? Kataia?
I think it's Kataia.
How would you say that, Tyler?
Katea.
Katea. Katea.
Katana.
Cantina.
No, it's silent.
3 Voyages by Martin Frobisher, 1476 to 1578 by 3 by John Davis, 1585 to 1587, discovered new lands and Eskimos to the west of Greenland, but no passage. The history of English colonization must begin with Gilbert and his half-brother, Sir Walter Raleigh. Yeah, Gilbert is the half-brother to Walter Raleigh, the same one who founded Raleigh, North Carolina. In 1578, Gilbert, who had long been a confidant of the Queen, secured by a royal patent to possess and hold heathen and barbarous lands, countries, and territories not actually possessed of any Christian prince or people. Significantly, the patent guaranteed to Englishmen, their descendants in such a colony, the rights and privileges of Englishmen, in such like an ample matter and form as they were born and personally residente within our said realm of England. Maybe that's supposed to be residence?
You're a resident?
A resident? Personally resident. Okay. Yeah, it's just the way these... So, like, check this out, y'all. This is how they spelled this. Like, in the beginning, it says, in such, and such is spelled with an E at the end. And then, form is spelled like for, F-O-U-R, F-U-R, yeah, F-O-U-R, with an M-E. Like...
Could be forum?
No, form. It's supposed to be form. Like, whoever wrote this, like, was really, really bad at English. That Englishman was really bad at English.
Try to keep it authentic. Like you were...
And then get this. And then born has a E at the end. And then this residente word is spelled R-E-S-I-D-A-U-N-T-E. So within our said, and they spelled said like S-E-D. And then
realm. I wasn't reading this. I would have said seed.
And then realm is spelled R-E-A-L-M-E. Like what? And it's capitalized. Like what? Look at Tyler's face. He's like, what? Yeah, look at this. Look at this. It's so bad.
I can't.
It's so bad. And policies. Oh wait, the form of laws. Oh, but they wrote form. Wait. They wrote form in the second context correctly, but with an E at the end. And laws with an E at the end. What the fuck? Wow.
Language.
Just wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're just gonna...
Her mind broke for a second.
My mind broke for a second. When I read that the first time, I was like, I am so poking fun of this on the pod. Like, oh my goodness. So we're just gonna start from the top. Let's see, where does that run? Okay. Significantly, the patent guaranteed to Englishmen and their descendants in such a colony the rights and privileges of Englishmen in such like ample manner and form as if they were born and personally resident within our said realm of England, and laws had to be agreeable to the form of the laws and policies of England. And agreeable is missing an E. Like, you're putting an E everywhere where it don't need to be, but where there needs to be an extra E, there's not.
That's where they took it from.
It looks like agreeable.
I mean, I can't blame the guy because look how much he wrote.
No. Mr. Tyndall here was copying from documents that were written this way. So Mr. Gilbert, the half-brother of Sir Walter Raleigh, wrote this like this. This is his handwriting back in the 1500s.
Genius. Do you see why we voted against the British now?
Yeah, they couldn't spell. No, if we have any English watchers, I am so sorry. But, I mean, this is 1500, y'all. Okay, we're not saying now, even though y'all got some pretty funny words that don't make any sense. And you put a V on the end of bruh, but... It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. It don't matter. And it's not right to make fun of y'all.
Yeah, it's not fun to make fun, bro. I'm sorry. Okay. Gilbert, after 2 false starts, finally near Narragansett Bay, he landed in Newfoundland, took possession of the land for Elizabeth by right of John Cabot's discovery. John Cabot's discoveries, which we went over in the previous chapter. No, we went over that in the same chapter as
the explorations.
The Lutheranism. So that was like two episodes ago.
Yep.
Yep, that was 2 episodes ago.
Once again, 2 episodes ago.
So that was actually a good idea in the very beginning to do a recap on 2 episodes ago. Because that does tie back into this.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Anyways, so he took possession of the land for Elizabeth by right of John Cabot's discovery and read his commission to some mystified fishermen on the shore. So he legit just pulled up on some fishermen and they're like, "Who is you?" And he's like, "By royal decree of Queen Elizabeth." And they're like, "Who?" Who?
Queen who? Queen who again? We don't know that.
So you're scaring the mackerel.
You're scaring the mackerel.
With all that loud decreeing over there, we decree you to be quiet. We're fishing.
He read his commission to some mystified fishermen on the shore,
Oh, they were
and
mystified,
after
right?
losing his largest vessels because the season was far advanced, and he resolved to return home with the other 2. On the last day of his life, he was seen with a book in his hand, probably Sir Thomas More's Utopia, which we talked about in The Secret Destiny of America, our very first set of videos for this podcast. Which inspired his last recorded words. From the deck of his pinnace, the Squirrel, Gilbert shouted across the other ship with the haunting words, "We are as near to heaven by sea as by land." And the following night, his ship vanished and was never seen again. So, like, I wonder where he went off to. Like, did he, like, sail across the, like, Bermuda Triangle and, like, disappear?
Probably. He was lost at sea, no, regardless.
Lost at sea, yeah. Raleigh's Lost Colony. The next year, 1584, Raleigh persuaded the Queen to renew Gilbert's patent in his own name and sent out Captain Philip Amadas and Arthur Barlow with an English naturalized Portuguese pilot, Simon Ferdinando, and to reconnoiter. Wait, how in the... Is that how you say the word? I read that at first as recognition, but nope.
Reconnoiter?
Reconnoiter. Somewhere in the top.
It's right here, because it's like one of them, right here. So it's like one of those words.
Like, it's one of those funny looking words. Reconnoiter?
Reconnoiter.
Yeah, reconnoiter. That's what I thought.
Reconnoiter?
Yeah,
Reconnoiter.
Look it up.
Yeah, let's look that one up real quick, because, you know, it's just...
Screw Webster, we got our own dictionary.
Yeah. Well, we do have our own dictionary. We got the 1954 one.
Where is it?
It's out there in the living room.
Reconnoiter.
Reconnoiter. Whoa.
Definition.
To make a military observation of a region. Okay.
Makes sense.
They reconnoitered the beach some weeks before landing. The raiders were reconnoitering for further attacks. That's some good examples. But reconnoiter?
Reconnoiter.
Reconnoiter. It sounds like you're saying Rick and Morty almost.
Mm-hmm. I reckon they would have said it real fast.
Reconnoiter. So, reconnoiter a site. Sailing by the way of the West Indies, they came to the outer banks of North Carolina.
Yeah.
What about Tyler over there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeet.
And King.
And King out there. Woo woo. Which Verrazano. I didn't expect him to respond.
Mm-hmm.
He responded.
The King has spoken.
Which Verrazano. Our pit bull's name is King. which Verrazano had visited 60 years before, found an inlet to Pamlico Sound and discovered Roanoke Island, where the soil seemed fruitful and the natives friendly. The Outer Banks afforded some protection, and the rivers to the interior encouraged dreams of a route past the Pacific. In 1585, Raleigh's first colony went out under the command of Sir Richard Grenville, with Ralph Lane as governor. Grenville went via the West Indies, plundering Spanish vessels to help defray the cost, and left the colonists on Roanoke Island before returning to England. They survived a mild winter, but with the following June, friction with the natives led to a fight, and when Francis Drake arrived to warn them of a threatened Spanish attack, the colonists decided to go home. Soon after Grenville returned, I want to keep saying Greenville.
It's probably where Greenville came from.
Probably. Because it's spelled Grenville.
Yep. Just like
Ille.
Greenville. Yeah.
Veal.
Greenville.
Grenville. When he returned, he did not find the colonists, but left 15 men behind to hold the fort and departed. Raleigh immediately set about trying again, and in 1587 sponsored a colony of 117, including women and children under Governor John White. The plan was to pick up Grenville's men at Roanoke and proceed to Chesapeake Bay, since Roanoke was inaccessible to large vessels. But Simon Ferdinando, claiming the season was far too advanced, probably meaning like the winter was too far in, where it might be, tough to travel.
Mm-hmm.
That might be what they mean by the season was too advanced.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And probably eager to get on with plundering Spanish vessels. So Mr. Ferdinando was like, forget trying to find a new land, let's go plunder some treasure for some pirates. Insisted that the colony remain at Roanoke. After a month in Roanoke, Governor White returned to England to get supplies, leaving behind his daughter Eleanor and his granddaughter Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. White, however, could not get back because of the war with Spain. He finally returned in 1590 to find the city of Raleigh abandoned and despoiled. No trace of the colonists were ever found, nor any of the men Grenville left behind, and any theory as to their fate is only a wild surmise. Hostile natives may have destroyed the colony, or hostile Spaniards, who certainly planned to attack, may have done the job. The only clue was one word carved on a doorpost, Croatoan, the name of a friendly tribe of natives and also of their island, the present Ocracoke. The romantic legend later developed that the colonists joined the Croatoan natives, finally were absorbed by them, and were among the ancestors of the present Lumbee Indians of Robeson County, North Carolina. There is no solid evidence for this, and while some may have gone south, the main body of colonists appears to have gone north to the southern shores of the Chesapeake Bay, as they had talked of doing, and lived there for some years until killed by Powhatan. And none of them were ever seen again. Unless some of the remnant of the Lost Colony did survive in the woods, there was still not a single Englishman in North America when Queen Elizabeth died in 1603. And next Thursday's episode will be England and her colonies. We'll be starting the chapter 2 region of this book. So, with that being said, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was very interesting.
Our two pirates ended up, helping Sir Walter Raleigh and his half-brother find, the American colonies, and now we kind of still sort of have a mystery about the natives and what happened with the colonists at Roanoke.
I have a little more intel, a little bit more theories.
I personally think that it could have been the Spaniards and that came in to, attack the town, but maybe the people had seen them coming and somebody wrote on a door like, hey, we're going over here.
Yeah.
The Spanish wouldn't know what that would mean, but the two captains, Raleigh, White, and, I guess 3, and Grenville, all of them would have known, like, oh, yeah, that's the natives that are nearby. The Spanish wouldn't know. Because the Spanish conquests were
in the South
Georgia and below. They hadn't quite hit the North and South Carolina regions. Not until after Raleigh and them started, trying to colonize over there.
Or mythical spirit captured the souls of the colonists. Ooh.
I mean, the fact that they found no bodies, but that the little town was entirely destroyed, that tells me, like, they probably saw the Spanish ships coming and they ran away. And then the Spanish, when they found, everything is still there just as they left it, they might have took all the resources that the people might have had and then, set everything on fire because it's like, well, if they're coming back, they ain't coming back to nothing. So, I mean, that makes sense to me. So then I guess that kind of, like, cracks the mystery a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got to use context clues, I guess.
Well, how will we know there was any Spanish? Was there bomb shellings found on the beach at Roanoke Village? Or any kind of significant ways to show that there was an explosion of that sorts?
I mean...
Just like a sincere, genuine question before we conclude that the Spanish did it.
I mean, as it said right here, that Grenville or someone was trying to come back and warn everybody, like, yo, the Spanish are coming, the Spanish are coming.
Arriba.
Well, let's see. One of them said, okay, so Drake, when he arrived at the town, he said, the Spanish are coming, and they decided to go home. And then Grenville returned, okay, and then Raleigh brought more people.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I kind of caught that and went back into the story.
And then Simon Ferdinando, who didn't want to leave the area and just wanted to go back out to sea, he insisted, that they stay there while we go out and plunder these Spanish ships.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that, and it says right here, the hostile natives may have destroyed the colony, or it could have been the hostile Spaniards who had certainly planned to attack, which that's who Mr. Simon Ferdinando was worried about in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we going to go out exploring? We can better protect our people by leaving them here and then going out to sea to go beat up the Spanish. So that tells me, using context clues,
it was one of the other.
it had to have been, if there was no bodies found, and the only thing that was left was Croatoan, then I think that they went and to live with the Croatoan natives. If the Croatoan natives were friendly, then it would make sense for them to go and seek shelter from the Spanish with them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody ever expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody ever expects the Spanish Inquisition. I love Monty Python. That's one of the better ones. Man, I had The Life of Brian, the last song at the very, very end. I had that song stuck in my head for 4 months. It was torture. So I never want to watch that one again.
Mm-hmm.
But the one with the Spanish Inquisition, I'll watch that one all day long. The Holy Grail. 'Tis but a flesh wound, but your arms off.
It's like I said, nothing but a flesh wound.
Alright then, and then just like cuts his legs off, and then he's like, now what do you do? Come back, you yellow belly coward! I'll bite your legs off! Oh, that's my favorite part. The Black Knight. I got the Black Knight pop vinyl on my shelf out there. Oh. So, what did you boys take away from today's episode?
'Tis but a scratch.
'Tis but a scratch.
Mm-hmm. Scratching the surface of this history.
I just found it also really interesting how with Secret Destiny of America, we already learned about,
Utopia.
The Utopia book, and we learned about Sir Walter Raleigh having, been part of a secret society of Freemasons that helped develop the very first colonies over here in America. The same secret societies that our founding fathers were a part of as well.
Did you know there's over 10,000 secret societies in
Yeah.
America?
Yeah, over 10,000 of them.
10,000 different cults.
Spooky. Scary, spooky, skeleton.
Did you know penguinism is one of them?
Yes, actually.
Wait, what?
Penguinism.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Dude. I must know more. My curiosity has been piqued.
And there's a cult for Yahweh, too.
Well, that's given. That's a given. But penguinism?
Penguinism.
What?
The worship of Pablo the Penguin God.
Pablo the Penguin.
Really? Pablo the Penguin.
Yes.
And who is this Pablo?
Pablo the Penguin God is this mystical penguin from the ancient times.
Really, what did he do?
Well, you see, a long time ago, there was an ancient prophet who was traveling the Antarctic.
Mm-hmm.
And out upon his deathbed, Pablo came by and plucked his eyes out.
Mm-hmm. And that's what makes him holy?
No, he laid an egg.
Mm-hmm.
And inside that egg were the man's eyes. And upon reinserting his eyes, the man could see the holy visions of Pablo the Penguin God and went to spread his word to the other penguins.
And did Pablo have happy feet and started dancing everywhere, too?
Pablo doesn't dance.
Well,
He has his flipper slaps of justice.
Flipper flops of justice.
Flipper slaps of justice.
So they do. So,
Yes.
so they do have happy feet.
No.
Yeah.
He slaps with his flippers, not his feet.
Mm-hmm.
But his feet are flippers.
Yeah.
And they slap. And when you tap dance, you slap the ground right with your feet. There's no way getting by. There's no way getting by this, Tyler.
I'm sorry, I had to do the Bolby.
You can't invent the lore of Pablo the Penguin God. It's already concrete.
That's fine. That's fine.
I had worshippers in high school.
Mm. You know what? I'm gonna go and then.
I believe it too, because we went to school with the idiots.
Yep, and then I would have the bigger idiot to go ahead and just force to hold the documents. Be like, here are the actual manuscripts of Pablo the Penguin. They were written that back 10,000 years forward.
Don't bring murder among the Mormons in this.
Hey, bro,
don't bring that Mark guy
paid
into
though.
this.
Bro got paid. I mean, who's really the dummies here? The one that did the forging, or the ones that?
I would say it was the societies and our U.S. government library that was the idiots for buying the oath of a free man for $1.3 million, and it was a fake.
And don't forget. Don't forget about the Mormon Church, because they bought the most stuff from that man.
Yeah, they did. Apparently he
So
forged documents
who's really the one forging who now?
And apparently he also forged documents from apparently George Washington and Martha Washington, from their kids, from John Hancock and John Adams and Benjamin Franklin. Like he actually there's so many thousands and thousands of documents that this man forged that it would take 30 years to figure out and go through every ancient document that the United States has and be able to go through them each and every one carefully enough
to make sure that
it was authentic. One authentication takes like a month or 2 months. It depends on what it is and how long the text and the context is.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Good to know, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's painfully absurd. Like, if y'all want a really good, historical documentary that involves, bombings and stuff in it as well, and a crazy dude who was just smart enough to just give the biggest middle finger to the world through ancient historical documents.
Bro was so professional, he couldn't lie on the lie detector, even though he told a whole flat lie.
Like, the highest points you can score on the truth side of a lie detector is 12 points. This man is the only man to this day to have achieved 24 points when telling the truth, when he's sitting there lying to you.
Yeah, golden.
Like, and apparently this man, Mark Randall, I think it was his last name. I think it started with an R, I believe. he would practice, like, these meditation practices because he learned at a very early age, when he was, like, a teenager, that apparently you could lie on a lie detector and it would gauge it as the truth. You could fool a lie detector. So he started doing these experiments on himself, including, like, electroshock therapy included, to get himself to prepare to ever be on a lie detector, just in case he ever needed it. Like, dude.
Are these documents fake? No, they're not. They are real. They are real. So what does the lie detector say? That man's telling more than the truth. He's telling double the truth. What do you mean he's telling double the truth? He has a 24. The record's only 12. What? He scored double. My brain's broke. Let him go. Give him this money.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much how bro was thinking.
And he kind of succeeded that way for a while.
Yeah,
Until he was busted.
well, he decided to make bombs.
And then, try to blow himself into other people up.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do. But you know what? He wasn't a donkey at that point.
Yeah, Murder Among the Mormons. I think it was...
Netflix.
On Netflix?
Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix. And if you can't find it on Netflix, bro, you gotta find it wherever it's
It's
streaming.
a Netflix document. It's a Netflix documentary. You'll find it.
Like, that stuff's crazy. That show's crazy. Learning about that guy from the 1970s, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. So, with that, I think we can conclude the episode for today.
Mm-hmm.
Leave a like and remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you're always notified whenever we make a new video. And whenever we drop a new video, whenever we go live, which we are going to try and start doing live streams here pretty soon in the next couple of weeks or maybe by next month. So y'all stay tuned for that. And I think that's it.
And remember to live life with eyes wide open.
Yeah, we'll leave you with our famous slogan, our famous phrase, live life with eyes wide open. Thank y'all, and I will see you on the next one.